it's now officially time for Morning Meds. And that is where we do what?
We have conversations on topics that move the social, entertainment, and community gauge in a positive direction. You see me? And hopefully, Bridge Nation, after the reasoning, we hope to leave you guys with something worth medsing or meditating. And today, we're going to be in conversation with Aaron Anderson, who's a banker in already, my G. However, he's also an advocate for financial literacy, which is important.
Business.
Yeah, man. So Aaron's goal is to empower individuals and communities by building a strong foundation of financial knowledge. His aim is to dismantle barriers to financial understanding, ensuring everyone has access to the tools needed for informed financial decisions.
Man.
And what better time to discuss financial understanding than at the beginning of a
the new
critical
calendar.
time,
Yes.
in everybody's finances, the new calendar year. So Aaron, welcome to the show. Morning.
Aaron, you're a tall gentleman, so your knees... Let me hear if you're close enough to the microphone.
1, 2.
Yeah, man. All right, that's close enough. Hearing you clearly.
Yeah, man. So Aaron, Wagwan, Happy New Year, General.
Blessings to you, gentlemen. Happy
Thank you
New
so
Year.
much.
It's good to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. Trust me, it really is.
Give thanks. So now, just share a little bit more about yourself, and I'm curious, why are you so passionate about finance?
Well, it's personal experience, simplified. Been in financial sector a while now, and I've seen things. I've had conversations with persons where I realize that they need help, and these things that I believe in are not taught realistically in school. Going through school, I never experienced it myself. So you learn as you go.
Right.
So if I can use what I know and share it with people, why not? That's the aim behind it, really and truly.
I love that. No, your mission, as mentioned earlier, involves building a strong foundation of financial knowledge. So what are the steps individuals can take to enhance their financial literacy?
All right, so it's simplified. It comes down to accepting where you are right now, understanding what you want to achieve. So a practical step. I was even talking to a friend last night about this. It's just amazing that what we're talking about goals, for example. What are goals for 2024? How you're going with that, how they start. A lot of people have monetary goals, right? But for me, I realized that people are not specific enough. An example is, I want to save more.
How are you going to achieve it?
There you go. What's the specifics behind it? I know the acronym SMART always comes into play. Something that's specific. Okay, I want to save more. Narrow it down. Simple maths. I want to save 600,000 by the end of the year. Specific.
That's fine.
Measurable. That's 50 a month.
50 grand a month.
Cool. Is it attainable? Yes. If I stick to what I want to do. Is it realistic? Absolutely. And is it time bound? Very much so.
12 months.
Exactly. And my thing is that don't beat up yourself about the goals that you may not achieve over the previous year. Everybody have things that happen. Life happened to me personally. So what can I do now going forward? Accept my situation for what it is and what do I want to achieve. If I want to save towards a deposit for a house, a deposit for a car, how much do I need to? And okay, if I can save X, but I can also look at my expenses and say, okay, am I spending too much unnecessarily? Now, trust me, some of the bank statements and credit card statements I see, I smile. Because people always say, boy, I'm not money, so I say, all right, let's do a little project. Let's look at your bank statement or your credit card statement for last 6 months, and we add up what we can classify as unnecessary spending. Boy, the amount of money you realize you're spending.
True.
For the ladies, Sheen.
Oh,
Right out the bat. I'll call a spade, man. I see it far too often. And I'm practical like that. I say, okay, if you add up all of this, how much you realize you'd save if you don't spend this? Mark you, if you budgeted for it, I don't have a problem. But if it's out of your budget, why you go buy it? It don't make any sense.
I want to take you back to how you introduced the conversation and some of those things that you don't learn in school. Could you share some of those items?
One, I think, practical thing is really effective budgeting and the importance of it. So where there are different budgeting styles, for example, you have the percentage ones, so 50, 30, 20, 80, 20. You have the simple budget, which is income against expenditure. You have zero-based budgeting. You have all of these things that you really don't learn. So I really try to empower people to understand which one suits you. And it's not say, okay, you have to stick to 50, 30, 20, for example. 50% needs, 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings. You don't have to. Why? Because life is not static.
All right.
It's very fluid, and you can be saving that now, and then is something happen to you, your entire budget shift, or you're going to beat up yourself to say, oh boy, I can't do this anymore. No, you adjust accordingly. That's one thing. Understanding the importance of credit, because my specialty would be debt management, for example. Understanding loans, credit, debt, how these can work for you. Because I know there's a notion, for example, that debt is bad. I disagree. I say bad debt is bad.
That's true.
That's how I look at it. I look at debt as being leverage. Practical example. You just come out of school, you get a decent job. How are you going to buy a house right off the bat?
Cannot.
Exactly. So you have to borrow to do that. But the question is, are you going to do that plus other things? Are you going to borrow for go travel, borrow for party? These again, I said, these are the things the questions I ask people. Why do you want to do that? These kind of expenses, I say save towards them.
No, Aaron, a big part of what you do is breaking down barriers to financial understanding. These barriers, do you find that these barriers are more like a mental thing, like person's mentality need for fix, or they're actual barriers, in the system where people need to understand?
I would say it stems from both, but mentality is one, because while I'm not licensed to talk on investing, we can just have a general discussion. People think you need a whole lot of money to invest. That's not true. That's one mentality that needs to shift. People say, I don't have the million or the 10 millions that some people would have. You don't have to. Start with what you have. There are instruments in the financial sector that cater to you based on where you are. And that's really it. And then people don't think that there are other avenues per se that they say, okay, because I'm not doing this, I'm not earning this, I'm not working here, going to school here, for example, I won't have that luxury of saying, okay, connections, network. All of that for me doesn't matter. You have to be disciplined and decide to say, okay, this is what I want to achieve one way or another. And a big part of doing that is building a side business, a side hustle, finding a skill that you can market. Everybody can
have something
them can do.
Monetize.
I fully believe that. Living biblically for one, there's a book that I love. It's called The Last Arrow, where it's from a Bible passage in the Old Testament where the writer is speaking from the perspective of, I don't remember which prophet it was, but he was saying, fire your arrow. Boy, I only have one arrow. Fire the arrow same way. Let it not be said that you did not give everything you had. Believe me. And that's how I live. Everybody have something that they can contribute, that they can monetize. And people think also that, 10 other people doing this, so I can't. I said, that don't make any sense. Why? How many shoe brands are out there? How many car brands are out there? And yet, everybody still had something. Tesla just lose the number one spot as electric car maker to BYD. BYD come out of China.
That's right.
People never think Tesla could have lose. They just did. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. But you can do something for people you can cater to.
In a unique way.
Find your market, find your niche, ain't good to go.
Talking about financial literacy sounds like something may have to go tertiary institution to appreciate. Is that true?
No. Because a lot of what is being said is already out there. Google is the greatest teacher because everything can be found on it. So now the question is, because everything I know I didn't learn in school. I read it on my own because I knew that in order to set myself apart, I have to learn things on my own. I can't depend on other people to do it. And there are those who do it at a cost, for example. Nothing wrong with that. You're monetizing a skill.
True.
But I believe that you can also, two things. People have to have the discipline to want to learn for themselves. And two, if I can provide that information freely, why not? Because you can give content free and things come back to you tenfold. That's what I fully believed. You get me? So that's how I look at it. You don't have to go. It's good if you do, especially if you want to specialize, but it's not to say, because I didn't go university, I can't do this. That don't make any sense.
What I'm reaching at is the average person. The average person listening to us right now. The man on him farm in a St. Elizabeth. Bonnie, I know your name, I call. Me just say the man that is out there and he's saying, boy, listen, under the mattress, whatever happen. Budgeting, getting that appreciation that it's not something in academics, but it's something in practical application in real life that they can learn readily, that they can grasp easily.
Absolutely.
The average person can grasp it easily.
Absolutely. And there are communities out there that do break these things down very simply. Trust me, I could name so many, but they really do it. They simplify it for the average man to understand. But people have this quote-unquote shame to say, boy, I'm 30, 40, 50, I don't know none of them things, it's too late for me. That's absolutely not true. When name Holland Sanders started KFC at what? 50, 60?
Yeah.
They made them. I say Walmart was the same thing. It's never too late to learn something, but you really have to be deliberate. And you don't have to use your circumstances and say, okay, because I'm doing this, because I lack the basic knowledge of this traditional education, I can't achieve much. Elon Musk himself said he don't really believe in school because, and look at what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He employs smart people to do what you need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of understanding this ever-changing landscape and making it accessible for everyone, are there any trends, whether it be technologically or otherwise, in the financial sector that person should be aware of going forward?
When you said trends, clarify that for me.
Trends in terms of understanding, budgeting and finances and so on in the financial sector.
Well, yeah, there are like applications, for example, there are apps that simplify these things as well. There are platforms where you can find free information to learn on all these things and to understand how these things are constantly shifting, because we know that the big trend, for example, over the last few years was IPOs. You get me? Buy and flip. That's what people tend to want to do. Some people do that, it works. Some don't do it, it don't work. Not every trend they need to jump onto. You can just have to find a solid investment strategy for yourself. What works for you? A financial strategy for yourself. What works for you? Don't jump on any wagon just because. It don't make any sense.
I don't want to take you out of your depths, but I can't have somebody speaking on finances and the formal structures and not ask you to share your opinion on the formal financial sector in Jamaica. Is that a place that gets your confidence?
Yes. Why? Because if a financial sector is to collapse, then a country can collapse. So there has to be a certain strength to it. And we have strength to ours. Much like any other country, there are gaps because we've seen things in the news, for example. So it's a great concern for a lot of people, but saving it on their mattress is not any safer. You get me? Because if your house burn down, you lose all your money. Somebody broke my house and thief your money, you lose all your money. The good thing with investing in and keeping your money, I should say, in financial houses, with banks, your money is insured up to a certain amount through the JDIC. Get me? Investment houses don't have that level of security. Hopefully not yet. But there are instruments that you can put your money in that can give you some measure of security and some safety. But the financial sector it's doing what it needs to do.
All right. Yeah.
I'm encouraged. And speaking of offering some encouragement, Aaron, as we said, it's a new year. Whether it be for persons who just looking to get them business started, money right and everything, or persons who've been at this for a long time. Do you have any encouraging words to just leave with the Bridge Nation as they take on 2024?
I would tell them start where you are, start what you have, and just stay focused on your journey. That's it. Reach out for help when you need it. There are communities. We in a social media age right now. There are individuals, there are communities, even free communities that you can reach out and be a part of on Telegram. I am on a couple of them. So trust me.
I am on a couple of them. Where are you? Can you be reached? You are one of the few people who are giving good free advice. Talk to us. How do they get in touch with you? How Daniela find you?
It's actually a friend of mine put her on to me. And she reached out to me and said, I think I'll be good for it. I said, why not?
So how do the average person find you and get
so
help
I'm
from
building out my Instagram page right now, so there won't be much on it, but it's Aaron the Financial Doctor on Instagram. That's the only one I'm on right now. But I'm slowly building out everything.
All right, amazing. Thank you for taking the time to come and chat with us.
Aaron.
Man, it was a pleasure, man. It really was a pleasure, gents. All the best for 2024 to all the listeners as well.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
man.
Well, good, my virgin.